Hello YouTube fans, here we are gardening with Vincenzo, and today I have a little bit of a different video here. As you can see, I have my arm in a sling, and I had a couple things that have happened to me over the last couple of weeks, and I just wanted to share that, not only for informational purposes but also as a precautionary tale. Currently I'm on a medication, and I won't say what the medication is, but the initials are HCTZ. And one of the things that it does is it makes you sensitive to the sun. And last year, I was out in the sun quite a bit because I'm always outside. I do a lot of growing. I'm very much into antioxidants and nutrient dense foods. Fresh vegetables, growing things, being organic, nurturing plants and vegetables and fruit trees and pruning. And as you can see from the hundreds of videos that I have out there. Well, recently when I did my annual physical with my doctor, I had her take a look at a mole that was on my arm, on my right arm, and she said that I should probably go and see a dermatologist about that. And so I made an appointment, and it's a little bit difficult to get an appointment, a timely appointment with a dermatologist. They're always booked up. And so about 3 months later, I was able to see the dermatologist. I went to see the dermatologist, and he said that the mole looked suspicious, so they removed the mole. So they sent it off to the path lab. The pathology lab verified that it was a melanoma, which is skin cancer, and that they had to further send it out for differentiation, which means what kind of a melanoma. And the size of it dictates the level of surgery required to correct that. Basically, they're trying to remove all the tissue that may contain the cancer cells. So, there's nothing like being told you have cancer to really, gut punch you and make you, reflect upon many, many, many things. And I was debating whether or not I should even do a video, inform people of what my own situation is. But I decided that it might be better to do that as a precautionary tale for those that are out there with the sun and sunbathing and sun tanning and those types of things, because it's a real threat. And so after I got the word that what type of cancer it was, it's type 1A, which was fortunate for me because it's a slow growing cancer. But I did have to go and have an additional surgery on my arm, and it wasn't a great place because of the bending and stretching, an extension of the arm. So they took quite a bit of flesh off my arm, and had a little bit of a problem with trying to take the skin and stretch it over top of the surgical site. And so I had to restrict movement of my arm during this process. I go back tomorrow. I guess they'll take the stitches out, take a look at the two grafts that they had to put over top of the wound because of the amount of tissue that they had to remove to make sure that there were no more cancer cells. So it was a little bit more involved than what I had expected. But the reason I did this video was I'm not looking for sympathy. It is what it is, as with most things in the world. But I wanted to do a kind of a cautionary tale. I never gave much thought about, even though I was on this medication that, says that you're sensitive to the sun, I never had any problems. I don't seek to suntan and that type of thing. I always end up with farmer's arms, the t-shirt line, as I am right now in a t-shirt. But I felt that it might be a good thing to go out and let people know that this is a real hazard. The skin cancer rates are going up worldwide. In Australia, they make the school kids have to wear hats and long sleeve shirts and that type of thing. And you hear on the news about the Australian fires and, that type of thing. And now they're getting flooded. So, there are some changes in the weather cycle. And what I wanted to try and, suggest to folks is that when you're out there, especially if you're older, especially if you're on a medication, that makes you sun sensitive, to make sure to use that sunscreen. I already was told by the surgeon that I will have to be very, very careful out there in the sun now, which really, made me think twice about things. But I decided I'll just wear a long sleeve shirt. I'll wear a more of an inclusive hat to protect the back of my neck, and because that's where I get sunburned all the time. Not sunburned, but that's where I take the most sun. So, again, this is a cautionary tale. It's early in the morning here where I am, and I've not gone planted yet, although I've picked up a lot of my seeds, and, I'll go into my greenhouse and, grow plants and all that. So what I will do is I will ensure that I am eating as many, antioxidant, nutrient dense vegetables. There's a lot of things that I add to my salads, which I call my anti-cancer salads, and then here I end up with skin cancer on top of the non-small cell lung cancer that I had issues with several years back that required a pretty decent surgery and quite a lengthy recovery time. So anyway, for those out there that are out there in the sun, on the beaches, get out there. Make sure that you use sunscreen. Use a healthy sunscreen. SPF 50. Make sure that it covers all the rays, the different rays that there are out there. When you're young, you think you're invulnerable. You get to be middle-aged, and you start to think, well, I better start taking care of myself. And when you get to be an old timer like myself, at post 60, retired, you really start to have to take care of yourself. So one of the cautionary things reason why I'm doing this video, again, is not looking for sympathy. I'm not looking for anything other than to share my story so that other folks that are out there, a lot of people that are in the what should I say? Not the fall of their life, not the winter of their life, but older people. Although there's a lot of young now, and I'm glad to see that that get out there and try to make the earth green again. I happen to be one of those. I very much try to encourage people, everyone that I meet, to get out there and make the world a better place than you found it. And I still believe in that. And I do want to caution folks that there is a real risk out there with the sun exposures, especially if you're on certain medications. So if you're on medications, you may want to look and see that you may or may not be at increased risk for sun exposure at increased sensitivity, and act accordingly. So I thought I'd share my story, due to that fact. If I can prevent one person from experiencing what I'm experiencing, then I would be very happy. We all live on the clock, and every day is one day gone. You can't get that day back. So, live your lives, as everyone does, and just remember that when you're out there exposing yourself to sun for long periods of time, you really want to protect yourself as much as you can. And so that's my precautionary tale here today. I wasn't sure whether I was going to do this video. That's the reason why I haven't put anything new out there for the last couple of weeks, because of the surgery and the restriction of the movements and everything. I didn't want to expose myself or other folks to that dreaded word cancer. I think it was C. Everett Koop, who was the Secretary of Health, said that there is no such thing as a safe suntan. Well, I'm a believer now in that statement. So anyway, if you're out there, just take the right precautions, use some sunscreen, a good sunscreen, and, protect yourself. If you're on medications that make you sun sensitive, find out, what the things that you can do to protect yourself or help protect yourself. I'm a firm believer in, nutrient dense, high antioxidant diet, which is one of the reasons to, really embrace the growing of the fresh vegetables, organically, non-toxic, without pesticides, that type of thing. And so I really practice what I preach. I try to be very encouraging to others to, look at it in that light. You're doing yourself a favor, maybe fending off. I don't know how long this thing was growing. It's a slow growing cancer because it's type 1A, the melanoma. So I guess I was fortunate for that. But I'm glad that I went and got it looked at and followed up on it. So if you have a mole or an area on your skin that looks like it's a little bit dark or has changed, make an appointment. Go see your dermatologist. Better safe than sorry. And that's my video for today. So gardening with Vincenzo. We can save this planet 1 yard at a time, beginning with your own. And I think that if everyone would do that, I think the earth would be a better place. It increases habitat for the critters. Absorbs the and offsets the carbon imprint that we all make from our daily lives. And be sure to protect yourself out there from the ravages of the sun if you're going to be out there for long periods of time, like I am. I spend all my time outside. So, all right, be safe out there, America. Nice sharing this story with you. Again, I did it as a precautionary tale. If it helps other folks to go and get looked at, see the dermatologist, make sure that they have nothing going on. That's a great thing. And hopefully I'll have good news tomorrow when I go and get my stitches out and see what we have to do following up on this. And I'll keep everybody posted. And hopefully we'll have some nice green videos here. We're almost coming up on spring. All right, be safe out there, America. Remember, you are what you eat, and fresh is always best. All right, grow as a person, plant a garden. Thanks for sharing some time with me.